One of the great chapters of the Bible is Hebrews chapter 11, and it talks about the men and women of faith. And there's one couple that it speaks of, and that was the parents of Moses and how they trusted God. And as I'm standing here in this beautiful place in Florence, Italy, and I look down and I can see the river and the city background there, I think about Moses and when his parents, when he was just a little baby, the Pharaoh had issued an edict that all the children were to be killed. And so Moses' parents, instead of fearing the edict of Pharaoh, they acted in faith. And what we discovered they did was they took him and they placed him in a wicker basket and put him in that river, and they trusted him to God. And God ended up taking and making him a man who is mightily used. In fact, the Bible says there was no greater prophet to rise in all of Israel as Moses. And why? Because he had parents who had faith and believed God. You know, I believe when we get to heaven, we're going to discover that's a lot of our stories, that we've had a parent or grandparent or someone who's prayed for us, who stepped out in faith and believed God. And the reason we're doing what we're doing, I know that's true with me. The reason I'm doing what I'm doing was there was a grandmother who prayed for my father. I never even met my grandmother. She died before I was born. And yet she believed God, prayed and sought the face of God. And here I am today making these videos in Florence, Italy, telling you what Jesus can do because of the faith of a grandmother. And so what I want to say is one of the greatest needs that we have in this generation. We talk about the younger generation and what they need. I want to tell you something. The great need that we have are parents. Parents who believe God, parents who will step out in faith and trust God to do great and mighty things. So I want to ask you, would you be one of those? Would you trust God? Would you believe God? Would you stand in faith and trust Him for your family, for your children? Or if you are a child, pray for your parents. By the way, I prayed for my mother, my father, my brother, my sister who came to Christ, and God blessed my family. But you see, it takes someone, one person who will pray. Would you be that one person who would pray and seek the face of God to do great and mighty things? I believe God is looking for men and women of faith, parents of faith, families who will pray for one another.